All right, this is Wind Dove's Cry. She's a Muscle Hill first full out of Cedar Dove. Jordan McKay will be going with her, and she was purchased in Lexington. So she's the first one coming out. Beautiful, big, strong filly. And her caretaker, Katie McNeil. Here we got La Paz, Conway All filly that we purchased at Lexington. I don't know if anyone know this guy here, Simon Allard. So La Paz from Lexington, Conway All filly. Can be a little strong at time, but she's starting to settle down a bit. Here we got another Conway All coming from Lexington, and we get Wayne on the bike. Wayne's been a great addition to the Team Allard stable this winter. He's been doing a great job. So we got Wayne here with Mr. Smeed, Conway All coat, New York eligible. I'm gonna go with one more Rosie. She's a muscle mass filly, and she's from Lexington. We had Simon with La Paz. She was a bit of a handful at the start. She just wanted to go, 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 and sometimes she wanted to go too fast, too quick, and roll off stride and stuff like that. And we had to put the trotting hobbles on her because didn't want her to take any bad habit. And since we put the trotting hobbles on her, she's been trotting good, and she's uh, she's one of them that you get to say whoa more than go. She just likes to go, and yeah, we just she's New York eligible, so we keep the hobbles on her, keep her trotting, get her ready for the New York circuit. So far anyway, she's doing what she should be doing. I mean, they're all bomb proof. You can go by a water truck, you can go by the tractor, everything, and anything go beside them. They're really bomb proof. So at this point, it's still early, but we got them. The pacers are pacing good, the trotters are trotting good, and they're not scared of anything. And that's kind of what we're hoping for at this time of the year. And we had Wayne with Mr. Smeed. Mr. Smeed's a Conway All coat that from the start it was very natural. All trot. I don't remember him making a break since the start. I mean, he's always trotting. Very natural. He's a little bit of up and down up front, and he's got a lot of action. Um, but that's kind of the way he travels. His knees got a little bit bothering him when we start training him, so we turn his shoes backwards up front to kind of help him. And we backed up for a couple of weeks and blistered him, which we've been blistering a little bit their knees and their hocks and working on them, and they're all different individual, but he's definitely got the don't want to make a break type for New York. I think it's important. So he's going to be one that he might not, you know, I don't know if he's the fastest one, but he's going to be safe. He's ultra. So we're just going to do like everyone else, keep him sound. That's our goal right now and teach. So the big Muscle Hill filly that Jordan McKay had, um, from the start, she was always beautiful, big, and strong. She's got a bit of an attitude, like switcher tails. She's which you like to see that in the mare anyway. A lot of the good mares have a bit of an attitude. Um, she's been trotting good and everything else. We start training her, and we keep an eye on them like real close. Her knees were a little bit open, so we uh, we backed off a little bit. Right now, she's just kind of jogging and going the other way, and um, she's one that we only stake late in the year. She's got nothing till September, and our plan is to get her going a little bit later in the year because she's a big, heavy filly. She's definitely strong. She's got an attitude, but we're just gonna have to take our time with her a little bit more. The one I had was one more Rosie. She had a bad mouth at first. Her mouth was sore. We had pulled some wolf teeth out of her mouth, and she was always really sensitive with her mouth. Other than that, she was always all trot. She just loves to do her job, and she was probably the quickest in that set anyway. Of all the trotters we got, she's one that in the trotting filly side, I think she's the one that shows the most at this stage. But she's definitely nice, and she's New York bred. And her full sister was the River Time Rosie that John Bax had that made 960,000. So we're definitely very excited about this filly. Just gotta keep her sound, keep her together. But so far, she seems like she's pretty solid. Okay, over here we got Captain Feelgood. He's Captain Tresha's first crop. He was bought out of Lexington. Some of you probably know the mother, Feeling You. She made 1,000,000 winning 48. It's her first full. Jordan McKay is going to be going with him. And Katie McMill's the caretaker. Over here we got My Sweet Memory. She's a filly out of Sweet Lou, first crop with Simon Allard and caretaker Craig Bowden.
Simon went and got a haircut for this whole occasion.
Yeah.
He's the only guy that comes to the barn with hair gel and hair product. Let me get a close-up of
gotta take a shower once in a while.
Take a shower, everyone.
I'm going to be taking this beautiful filly by Shadow Play. Quarter blue chip. She's a first foal out of a sister to Michael's Power that win the little brown jug, Michael's Jackpot, all that family. It's a first foal by Shadow Play, Ontario bred. Captain Feelgood was with Jordan McKay. This coat, I remember going to White Birch to look at some of them yearlings, and I didn't think I could afford them. I said, I don't think we'll be able to get this one because, what we did this year is basically the ones that we spend six-figure on a couple of them. The one we spent a little more money on, we were looking at Philly, so we kind of have an entrance as far as if they don't make it or if they're not what we hope they're going to be, we can get half of the money back for the partners or around there. So those were the couple that we spent a little more money on. So when I looked at him, I said, well, I liked him. They turned him out in the field. He had a great attitude and all that. And I didn't think we were going to be able to afford him. Actually, everybody this year thought with them first year captain, I think everybody was thinking, you know what, this year we might be able to get a Sun Beach at a fair value. That was the idea going to the sale. You hear I remember having a conversation with multiple trainers, and everybody keeps saying that they think you're going to be able to get a Sun Beach this year because a lot of people are going to jump on the captain wagon. Well, come to the sale, you couldn't buy a Sun Beach, and captain this year happened to be a lot cheaper than expected, which they're doing some nice things out there, and I believe he's going to be fine. But that's why I kind of bought this coat by surprise when at Lexington we got him for 70,000, and he toes in a little bit up front and he paddles out, so we're just gonna have to be careful with that. And every time we shoe him, we'll work on that. So that's probably one of the reasons because he's out of a $1,000,000 winner. Feeling You is the first full. So, but when we first broke him, we were not really impressed with his attitude. He didn't really like his job. He was pulling up, and we had a bit of a hard time. And we had to geld at him, and since he get cut, he turned right around. He did 360. Now he's a sweet little horse. He likes to do his work. He does everything he's got to do, and he just seems like whatever you throw at him, he does it. So at this point, that's all we can hope for. The Shadow Play filly that I took myself, quarter blue chip. I talked about her a little bit earlier. She's the first foal. The dam was a sister to Michael Jack, but Michael Spower, that old family. Um, she's she's a beautiful filly, and she's been a little bit complicated at first. She wouldn't pace. Took her a while to get gaited. Now she's figured it out. As you can see today, she was in the pace the whole time. We're a little bit behind with her. We haven't trained her any speed or anything. She's just kind of jogging along, jogging both ways. Actually, she's just started to get real good gaited lately. Like she's took a long time to get her gaited, but she's very strong. We had to keep put an open bridle on her, as you can see. This big filly, she reminds me of You Gonna Kiss Me or Not when you look at her. You know, there's a present about her on this shadow play filly. She just really looks like something to me, and we're just gonna be have to be a little patient. We didn't stake her anything early, you know. We staked her in a couple late races and OSS, and you know she's one of them that she's gonna be a little bit later in the year. We're gonna let her tell us when she's ready. That's kind of the plan I have with some of them ones that they're a little bit behind, a little bit immature. Some of them get a little bit sore. You know, there's a couple of them we're just gonna have to take our time. And it was an interesting those three in this set here. You could see that those babies are, we call them bum proof. I mean, you can go by tractor, water truck, anything. It doesn't bother them. Ryan was on the jug car with the age horse, and the age horse was actually scared from the tractor. They had a bit of a hard time with that, and we got those three baby going right by the drag and the tractor, and you know they basically don't even move. So I'm very happy with the job my team has done with them babies. They're bomb proof. They're not scared of nothing. And in this set we also had My Sweet Memory, the one Simon had. She's a sweet Lou first full. This filly, she's been sick and sick and sick after sickness all the time. We've been really struggling with that. We gave her a couple weeks at one point. She came back. She was not too bad. She started back coughing, but we checked her blood. The blood was good. We scoped her multiple times. Every time, everything is pretty good. Sometimes she gets sick, then we get her cleaned up, put her on antibiotics. She comes back, but we've been struggling with her to keep her healthy. And you know, right now she's doing okay. She's not coughing and too much and stuff like that, but once in a while she'll still throw a cough here and there. So that's the thing we've been struggling with her. Other than that, she's really got a beautiful gait, and like when Simon moved her, you could see she's really slick. So we're gonna do a culture on her. We're gonna try to figure out what's wrong with her, and you know, obviously we got to get her healthy. We might have to turn her out for a couple weeks. Just as we go, we're gonna keep everybody informed. But she's definitely got a really nice gait to her, and she's got all the tools to be a nice horse. I think it's mostly allergies because she'll be coughing, but you scope her, she's clean. You check her blood, the blood's good. So I think she's maybe struggling a little with allergies. So we're working with some specialists and veterinarian and trying to figure out exactly what it is. I don't have the answer yet. We got Alan, the caretaker of Uptake, the legend Alan, to take care of train Good News Scooter. Good News Scooter trainer right here, Alan. With Simon on the jug cart, Simon Allard. We got a sports rider here. He was Harrisburg purchases. My dad actually picked that one out at the sale, and him and Elvis, Mikael Gotegon, Elvis. Um, so Simon be going with this sports rider, Hot Take. Here we get Jeff Jornay with Lynn Mulnote and Jordan McKay. So first full out of Shadow Play. First full out of them, he's a Shadow Play. And he was bought at Lexington from Winback Farm. I'm going to be going with Bettor's Account. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with this horse. He was the horse that was picked in the draw that we have when we give away share on a yearling. And I'm sure we got somebody watching this. Hey, Rick. What's his name, Enric? Dave Enrickson, the lucky winner of sharing a yearling, Bettor's Account. He's a brother to world record holder at Pocono, Big Town Hero that we also train. So I'm going to be going with him. As we go, we're getting with the ones that are a little bit more advanced. In this set, I'll start by talking about the one Jordan had, the Shadow Play coat. He's the first foal out of the dam. He was purchased as Lexington. He's one of them. At first, he was really, really like aggressive as far as not on the track, but around the barn, striking and biting, and he was a bit of a handful. And then he wants to breed the other horses on the track, try to jump on other people. So we had to castrate him early. I think 10 days after we broke him, we already got him castrated. And ever since, he came to be a nice, sweet little horse. And really, there's never been anything wrong with this little guy, everything he does. And if anything, sometimes he's one of them that, whatever you ask him, he'll do, but he's not going to do more than he needs to do. And I think a lot of good horses are like that. You know what I mean? They don't really overwork themselves, but he's everything you throw at him, he just does it, and he's been perfect from the get-go. He doesn't wear a boot, he's good gated, and he's two finger. So no, he's doing really well, and we staked him in the Battle of Waterloo and Ontario Sire and a couple other them races. Now this coat, everything's under control. I had Bettor's Account, which Bettor's Account was the horse that we did the contest that we gave the share away. That they had to pick between a couple of share, and they picked this one. And I don't know, maybe they'll be lucky because maybe they'll bring us some luck to the team because this colt is doing some real nice things right now. I mean, he was one when I went to the farm. I looked at him in the field at Winback. He wasn't really like flashy. He doesn't have the prettiest head on him. He's a big coat. He was still growing. He's been a bit of a process. At first, his attitude wasn't the greatest, and he's kind of funky gaited up and down up front, a little bit weak behind, but it just seems like he worked through all this, and now he's getting stronger. And the day that we were going to castrate him, because he had a bad attitude, and I said, we're just going to castrate him. And the day that the vet was lined up to do him, we trained him, and he was the best he's ever been. So I don't know, he felt it or he knew it was coming. He didn't want to. he didn't want to lose his balls, but he trained really good, and ever since that day, it was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I don't know if it triggered something in him, but he's been perfect. So now when you move him, you ask him, he wants to get out of his skin. Like he just jumps up when you ask him. It just seems like he's figured it out. So they're all babies. Some of them take him a little longer to figure it out than others. So I'd say out of all the babies, he's probably the one that went from the from C to B plus in like a hurry. So he's uh, he's doing some nice things, and obviously when we bought him at the sale, we had behind our mind, we had Big Tony rode to win the Gold Cup in Saucer for us, and he set the world record for gilding at Pocono 47, and he's give us some great trail. He's won the Earth Memorial race in Scioto, beat Sweet Lou that day and fold again 48, and he's done some great things for us. So that was, I'm not gonna say, if he was a different pedigree, when I looked at him, he didn't really look at anything flashy. I probably would not have bought him. I say I bought the page more than the horse from this individual, but now I'm kind of happy I got him. He seems like he's really coming along. And the third one we had in this set was a sports rider coat that Simon had. My dad picked at the sale. He was there and he liked that coat, so he owns part of him. And Michael Cote owns a part of him with him. They bought him together. He's a big growing colt. He's a mayfoal. He's a little bit choppy going up front, up and down, and he was hitting the ground a little bit hard. So we tried to put flip-flops on him today for the first time, and it was a little bit rolly. He was a little bit searching for, his hobbles and getting a little steppy up front. So I don't know if that's going to work for him. You could see Simon when he hit the last stretch with him. When he grabbed onto him, he got a little bit rolly and made a little step. But after that, he was pretty good. He's got lots to go. Speed's not an issue. He's actually, the faster you go, the better he is. But once you grab him on, he gets a little bit doubled up. But he's got some ability. He's trained with the hay set and goes with them, and hasn't been an issue. So that was them three, and we're gonna go with the last set here we got. So out of the 16 yearlings that we purchased, we're going with 13 right now. There's one that we gave a week off, and a couple of them that we gave a couple weeks off that are gonna be back in the first of March, beginning of March. So we'll keep you updated. Here's a Sun Beach Somewhere coat that was bought out of Harrisburg, going with Jordan McKay. He's a full brother to beach gal. He's doing some nice things. So again, he's a Sun Beach Somewhere coat that was purchased in Harrisburg. We got a Muscle Hill coat here that we purchased in Lexington. Simon owns part of this coat, and he's doing some nice things. So we got a Muscle Hill coat that was purchased in Lexington. He was hip number 7, capital T Hill. He's out of a Angersall Dam. The same crust as Horse of the Year last year, 3-year-old Wet the Hill. So if you do just the same, we'd be happy with that. But no, we're real happy about this coat. I'm gonna be going with this little Heart Major coat. He was bought from Kentucky, Kentuckiana Farm. So about Brady. Remember going to his farm. Probably eat the best fish I've ever eaten there. Eat quite a bit of it actually. We had a good time. But anyway, got this little Art Major coat from there. I think he was the cheapest yearling we bought, but he's doing some nice things. So, Art Major coat. On this last set, we had 3. Jordan had the Sun Beach coat. He's been doing some really nice things. He was very strong, but like today we're trying to go a little slower with the last set, so he was kind of running out, getting a little bit of hangry. Because when horses want to go, and you try to slow them down, they're gonna get on that left line, run out a little bit. So if you notice, I've noticed over time when you train horses, a lot of time you'll have horses that, I'll claim a horse who wears a roller burr and a Murphy inside, and I go to train him, and he's grabbing on, he's running out. I'm like, does he need all that gear? But then when you hit the gas pedal faster, then you'll see them straight up or run into a touch. So I think that's what it was with him, was running out just a little bit. But once you ask him to go speed, he straights up, and he's one of them that's kind of going slow up and down, but once he goes fast, he really gets to himself. He's doing some nice things. Simon had the Muscle Hill coat. On the trotter, in the trotters, as far as the boys go, he's kind of the talk of the barn right now. He's doing some really nice things, and obviously he's training always with the Pacers. He's training with a set of Pacer actually, and he's the only trotter in that set, and he's just kind of one of them that you just gotta ask him not to go too much. He just wants to go out there and do his thing. He's very natural. He's all trot. He's very, very nice. So if we keep him together, the idea is just to keep him sound. I think he's going to be doing some nice things. So we're very excited about him. And the little Art Major coat I had, he was one of them that was just a small little guy, not really expensive yearling, and he was nice in the field when I went to see him before I bought him, and I kind of picked him out there, and he's one of them that we had to cut him early because he was a bit of a handful, but he's coming along real good, and he's doing some nice things. He just wants to go, so he's game, as you could see when I was training him. So that wrapped up the 4 sets that we had today. We got 2 that were not going on the track today. The Camp Cadabra Philly and Loyalty Hanover. They were getting a couple weeks off. And Rock on the Sea, that's probably our best pacer. One of them that's really nice. We just gave him a little time. We back off with him. He's ahead of schedule. So he's starting back Friday. He was just getting a week off, but he's really nice goat, rocking on the sea. But we'll be putting some pictures and video of him on the website in the upcoming weeks as well. Thank you.